Hello everyone and welcome back. Just having my evening cup of coffee and wanted to get on here and say hi to everybody. So hi everybody. But just I'll chat a little bit about why I haven't been outside to do video in the last, I don't know, a couple weeks, a week or so. I usually go out there to do my videos for this channel, but I haven't really been out there too much because last time I was out there, I had my camera with me. Didn't have my phone with me, but I had my camera with me and sitting down. Some guy came up and kept standing next to me, and I knew something was up because when I go out there to that area, that waiting shed area, and sit there away from everybody, mind my own business, and, you know, if everybody's over here and everybody's over here and nobody's right here and you go sit down over here because you don't want to be around anybody, and somebody comes up and, you know, gets right next to you, and then they get right over here, and they, same person, keep wandering around you, and kind of a skinny, tall, older guy, probably in his 40s, and I wasn't really filming at the time. I just had my camera in my hand, and you know, had it here. So I kind of figured that, you know, I'll just turn this camera over towards him. I turned it towards his legs. I didn't get his face on there. I just kind of turned it towards his legs, and, you know, and just to kind of maybe deter him. I don't know. But he kind of took off and left from where I'm at, and kind of walked towards this girl that was, I don't know what she was doing. She was over by that buco place, and she was on her phone, and she, you know, let me show you. What she does is she does what a lot of people do. You know, and unaware, don't care about what's going on beside her, so she just probably texting her lover or boyfriend or something, I don't know. Well, anyway, that guy wandered over there by her, and I wasn't filming. Maybe I should have turned my camera on and started filming, but at that moment I just, you know, figured the guy, you know, just went over there, and well, anyways, he's standing there looking at her, and next thing you know, he just snatched that phone out of her hand and he took off running. I've never seen a guy, you know, that guy looked like that guy on Chespirito, that tall, skinny, bony, skinny face guy, but he sure had some legs on him because he took off running. That girl screamed and she went running after him. I didn't do no good for me to turn my camera on at that time because he done shot off down the road somewhere, so she's screaming. And anyways, now I had a feeling that if I'd have been anybody different, or if I wouldn't have turned my camera towards his legs, or it could have been anything, he might have snatched my camera out of me, my action camera out of my hand. Now, he's not the first one or the first time that I've had somebody try to snatch stuff out of me, away from me, and I've had somebody run up on me trying to get, I had an old camera trying to run up on me to grab my camera, and I reached down, grabbed it, and set it down beside me, and he run off, young kid. And a couple more young kids before that, I was filming on my, you know, I'd mentioned this before, but I was filming on my phone, and, you know, yeah, welcome to my channel and everything, and these guys in a motorcycle went up there, and they reached their hand out to try to grab my phone, and I pulled my phone away and I reached to grab the guy's hand, but they took off on the motorcycle before that. And, well, the whole point about it being is, it used not to be that way, and I don't know what has happened with society and people. I was filming out there one day and a guy threw a bottle at me, shot me the middle finger. Just, it used not to be that way. I don't know what the deal is. Like I said, I came here, I know it's been 16 years ago that I came here to the Philippines, to this area. When I came from the United States, I came directly to this area. And I've been in this area all these years. I haven't moved, or, you know, it wasn't like I was living in Manila or any place and then came here. I came directly here. So, in that time, in that 16 years, a lot has changed. Not only has the area around here has changed to where people just, you know, and people try to justify it and say, oh, it's such a hard time, people struggle and they're having a hard time. No wonder. It's okay for them to steal your stuff because, you know, they're having it hard here. You know, I'm having it hard here too. The thing is, it's not like it used to be. Things have changed. I'm not going to talk bad about the whole Philippines because there's good, decent people here, but the crime has gotten out of hand apparently for some people. And when I first came here, I was on a tourist visa. I don't know if I planned on staying here when I first came here, but I did come here and I went every 2 months over there to immigration to renew my tourist visa. And I did that for, I don't know how many years. I decided that I wanted to have, you know, kids with my girlfriend. I didn't marry her at the time, but I wanted to have a child. I wanted to have more kids, and when my kids are grown. So I planned that when I came over here, and everybody says, oh yeah, but your girlfriend in the first year, you know, she got pregnant, you've been there, and that was kind of a mutual thing. I figured, you know, your kids will always love you. You know, even if your person that you're with don't, even if they say, I don't have nothing to do with you anymore, you know, I've just been using you for, you know, all that YouTube money that you know. I just, you know, the thing is, your kids are always going to be there and they're always going to love you, regardless if the person that you're with doesn't care anymore. So I wanted to have a child, I wanted to have, you know, and she got pregnant, she had the baby in the first year that I was here, and I think I was still on my tourist visa when I was here. And it was just lucky that she turned out to be a girl because, you know, I finally, you know, had boys, but I never had a daughter. And I was lucky to have a daughter. I was like, finally a little tiny, beautiful little, not a, you know, rough boy, but a little daughter that I can, well, anyways, I continued on my tourist visa, and that first year in that November had, you know, my daughter, and I was still learning, still here and still learning, and it was great out there. People, I think the road wasn't even a four-lane, wasn't even a highway, it was a regular road out front, and, you know, you could go out there with a camera phone. You know, you didn't, we didn't have action cameras. We had, you know, I think flip phone and regular phones. But anyways, you go out there and you start filming stuff out there with your old Nokia phone, and you know, you didn't have people run up on you try to steal it. So it's only in the years since then, you know, I eventually went over there and I got me a 13A marriage visa. To that marriage visa 13A, within the first year you go over there. After that first year, it's like a probationary period, and then you gotta, after that year, I think, I'm not even sure if it was 2 years after that or if it was just that year that it was probation, and then you got your permanent resident visa after that. So I'm on the 13A, which is a marriage permanent resident visa. And to have the resident visa, you have to maintain being married to a Filipina. And since I was getting balik bayang boxes and my kids were going to school here, my daughter was 5 years old. I had another daughter I looked out, and then I had, 2 stepkids here, and I was raising them. But I stayed in this same area. Fortunately, I was able to rent this same place, going on 16 years now. I've been at this same place. I think there was a few months I moved down the road, but I came back here because this place is not too far from the main road. The kids have access to go to school, and it's just been great. But the area, the environment in the area, I've noticed little things. People, saying, oh, I got my phone snatched out there, or, hey, I got beat up out there on the road. And, even me, I used to be extremely heavy when I was here. And I would climb on the jeepneys. And a jeepney's like a long Jeep looking thing that the people ride on. They get on, pay so much money, and they sit on the sides and they ride where they need to go. And I'd get on a jeepney, and it got to where the drivers of the jeepney would do stuff, stupid stuff, like slam on their brakes, causing me to fall on the jeepney. And then everybody laughing, like it's a big deal or something. And I got aggravated and decided, hey, I'm not going to ride these no more because, grown people being heathens. And, we had talked before about me going out and trying to vlog and people getting out there doing stupid stuff and being heathenism. So anyways, I got to where I started riding the trikes and, being fat and big and everything. I wasn't able to fit inside the Jeep track things, especially with the kids in there and everything. So I'd sit on the back. The driver would sit there on the motorcycle, and I'd kind of sit in the back. So even some of them, I got to where some of them were saying, oh, don't let him pop your tires, and just different stuff. And it just got to where I started thinking, what the heck is going on with people? It's gotten bad over here to where I think people's always been makulit, which is, I don't think they've always been that way, but it's gotten worse over there. People's never really been mean. They've never really been, they just did stupid stuff, but they never really tried to snatch people's phones. They've never, tried to, run up on people and kick them, or, it was never that way. They would just do stupid stuff. And in the last few years that I've been over here, I've noticed that you look at the news and you see stuff, and you see people's motorcycles getting stolen, and I think the worst one was a guy was going to the store to buy, I don't know what he was going to buy, milk, eggs, cheese, whatever you buy at the store, and he was riding to the store, and these kids came up to him, and they didn't even try to rob him. They just come up to him, shot him in the face, and, went and digged through his pockets to get what they wanted, and then took his motorcycle. And most of the time you just hear, hey, they robbed these people, or look, there's a foreigner, and that foreigner went and bought him a brand new motorcycle, and he had that motorcycle 2 weeks, and these kids come up there and robbed him. So I was always told, if you're going to buy you a motorcycle, go get you a used one that doesn't look that good. And then if they rob it, they don't really get something out of it, but don't go getting a new one that tempts people. So anyways, it has gotten worse since I've been here, and sometimes I feel like it's time to move on down the road. You know, try to move somewhere else, go to Province. When I get out there and try to film and people start throwing bottles at me and try to steal my cameras and steal my phones, and there's a lot of foreign bloggers here, a lot of foreigners in the Philippines that are doing videos, and a couple of them, a couple times they said, hey, they stole my wife's phone, or they, you know, tried to rob me or tried to do this. But the biggest majority of people that live in Province or Angel City or places like that get out and just normal vlog, if they do, they don't put it on camera that they've had any problems. I know Dumaguete down there in south, a lot of people are moving down there and doing videos, and I think they get along fine and do good, saying we're lucky we live in Province. And I think a couple of them live over there by the beach or by the water, and they say, hey, you know, for what I pay here, it's as, you know, a good place. I know a couple of them's up in Angel City up there, Angel City, and they do good. I know only heard of one who said that they tried to snatch his phone. But again, I think that's mostly people on the highway that, you know, figures they can get by and grab your phone and run off before you can catch them. But the people out in normal, that you go to a store, or you get out and you're walking down the road, normal road, they don't really mess with you, and you can make videos and show the beach or show places a lot more than what I can show here. You guys have looked at a lot of my videos, and most of them are just sitting at that waiting area and doing my videos and showing the big building over there and stuff like that, because I don't really want to walk down the street down there next to that highway and have somebody, you know, I don't think they'd, you know, shoot you. I think they just come up there and rob you, especially being a foreigner or being an easy target. They think you got $1 million in your pocket. And I just hadn't been taking that chance. I'll probably get along good with everybody, you know, and most people comes by, they wave, and some of them, they say, hey, you a vlogger, you a YouTuber? And I say, yeah, and they say, oh, what's your channel, you know, and they get along good with you, and everybody's fine. You get the occasional butthole wants to rev their motor up, or an occasional butthole that wants to turn their music up, and I have buttholes, heathens, you know, ignorant people. But most of the people is just good, fairly nice, fairly decent people here, and those are the ones that I'm appreciative of and I'm thankful for. And it's just that few of them, it just makes me not want to come outside, not want to go out there, and not want to sit down at that waiting shed. And like I said, you know, I went there at that waiting shed that day, and there was dog poop smeared all over and, you know, kind of makes you wonder, you know, when you go out there sitting, people's, you know, see you sitting out there, and then one day you go out there and you see not only dog poop out there, but, you know, you see dog poop, and then you see it where people stepped in it, and then they just wiped their feet off on the steps there where you sit at. And not only one time they wiped their feet off, because, you know, maybe they figured, oh, he's going to sit there anyway. So they wipe them off here, and then they wipe a little bit off there, and maybe they're not doing it on purpose. I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. But, you know, I got my eye on every one of them. It just makes you kind of wonder, because they's that type of people in the world. I wouldn't just say the Philippines, I'd say the world, you know, in general. You know, I've heard of other places, other countries and everything, even the United States. I've heard of people doing stuff or being heathens, and you know what happened back in the days when Adam the Woo used to vlog, and people really never messed with him too much. But being over here, it's kind of taken its toll on me. I feel like that I want to get my kids' papers straightened out to where they can go to the United States with me. They want to go visit anyway, so go over there and I can do some vlogs over there, and I can kind of do some of the things that I want to do, even if it's just walk around my yard and check out caterpillars and stuff. So yeah, over here, years ago, I even used to go to a place. I remember walking to a place that had a lot of rocks and stones, and I don't know if they were dumped there or if people were building something and they just scooped them up and let them fall off to the side. But there's a lot of rocks that I got, and a lot of like marble stones and nice looking stones, and you know, I was into collecting the stones, even taking pictures of the stones that I collected, and I thought, you know, that's a good hobby for me to get into. But they got to where when I'd get out there sometime and I'd start looking for rocks and stuff like that, I had a local police officer come up and ask me what I'm doing, and I said I'm picking up some stones and some nice looking rocks, putting them in a bag and was taking them. He said, you're not allowed to do that. Now I don't, you know, I always thought, you know, there's no law that says you can't pick up, you know, a nice looking green, you know, polished stone or something that was on the ground over there with a bunch of stuff, or a little chunk of marble that was on the ground. But, you know, he specifically told me you're not allowed to do that. And I said, well, that's kind of my hobby. I thought it was something. He said, those are minerals and they're not supposed to be. I think he was just talking through his. So anyways, I got out of that, and I thought for a while, you know, I'd see a few rocks here and there where I lived at, and I'd pick them up and save them. But that kind of stuck with me, what the police officer told me. And like I said, that's been years ago. I don't know. And since then, my brother, I was going to have him give me a metal detector, and I can go metal detecting and try to get a few things. But from what I understand, and I don't know that it's true or not, again, certain people could just be talking out their nose or something, saying, oh, you're not allowed to metal detect and get things that come from the ground. So anyways, that was a shame that I was told that. So, you know, don't know what else to do over here at the time, you know. And I wasn't really heavy back then, but there was things that I thought, you know, what am I do? Collect stamps? Is there a law against that here in the Philippines? So I still got my rocks put in there. They can't take them away from me. I still have my collections in it. So I just, you know, there's certain things here that you can do and certain things I was told you can't do. and it's just taken a toll over the years on me. And everybody says, hey, you ought to move to, eventually I'm going to go back to the United States for a little while, but they say, until that time comes, why don't you just move out of the city, move somewhere. I don't think they can say anything if you're out there digging you a garden and you come across some stones or something, but yeah, you never know. Anyways, I wanted people to know this is one of the reasons that I'm doing this video and haven't been doing a lot of videos out there in Crime City vlogging. So, kudos, thumbs up to the good people here in the Philippines. Thumbs up to the people that say, hey, vlogger, how you doing? And thumbs up to the ones that don't mind being on video. And thumbs down to those ones that, those buttholes that are just, that have problems. So anyway, speaking of thumbs up, hope you guys consider giving my channel a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. I think the subscribe button's, I don't know if it's over there or over here. Yeah, you can read. It says subscribe on it. And up here somewhere, I got, usually I put something up there. But, and then at the end of my videos, when they're over with, they usually have a little area that shows something, shows my other videos. So this 26 minutes I've been on here rambling about stuff, and my coffee's probably done got cold by now. So that's all I've got for you right now, and I'll try to make another video outside. Just want you guys to know that if you see me out there and somebody snatches my phone, so it's not my fault. Well, anyways, subscribe to my channel, thumbs up and all that good stuff. God bless every one of you, and I'll talk to you in the next one.
SoBerryVlogs.